Hi everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca Stu and the Crew. I'm Rebecca. Today is Thursday, so we are going to do some Dollar Tree DIYs using items from Dollar Tree. So let's go over the supplies for our first project that we're going to be making today. I'm going to use one of these wood frame tin boards from Dollar Tree, as well as these wooden magnets that they're selling in the office supply section. Some hot glue, scissors, these building block tiles, and some gel stain with a pair of gloves. I'm also going to use these rub-on transfers that they sell by the stickers and some different ribbon to coordinate some greenery to go with the project, and one of these sunflowers over in the fall section, a piece of this bath sponge for the gel stain, and if you need it, you can use some painter's tape. So let's get crafty. So the very first thing we're going to do is use the gel stain to stain these little building blocks from the tower game that they sell over in the toy section. We're going to need 8, and we are going to stain all the way around except for the very ends where we're going to glue those together. It just makes it a little bit harder for it to stick, and you don't have to wait as long for the gel to dry. So we're going to do all 8 of these, and we'll need 4 for the front of the frame and 4 for the back. So once you have all the gel stain on, you just want to wipe them with a damp cloth to wipe off any excess and then let those dry. Now we're going to glue those to the front of the frame, and we're essentially creating a stand. So this will stand up on our countertop. As you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of glue at a time for each block, and make sure that they're touching each other and they are the perfect length to fit completely across the front of this frame. Now we'll flip it over and we will do the exact same to the back, adding all 4 of the blocks to the back to create the stand. Okay, so now we have all 8 on. You can touch up any gel stain if there's any spots where it needs touched up. And then we have our stand done. Now we're going to take this new rub-on transfer from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to cut off the part that says farmhouse with these little leaves here. And then we'll also cut out the square that says recipes. Now usually these rub-on transfers go on pretty much any material you want it to go on. I've showed in the past, we've used it on the faux leather, glass, we've done it on metal, wood. It pretty much works on everything. Now this tin board here, it was a little bit more difficult to get it to stick. So you really want to make sure that you're concentrating on all the pieces before you lift it up to make sure that it is stuck all the way down. It's more like, instead of a tin board, it's almost like foil. It's a thin sheet, so I think that's why it was a little bit more difficult to get it to stick, but it will stick. Just give it time and work slowly. So now we're going to add the little recipe square, and again, you want to make sure you go over it quite a bit to make sure that it sticks before you pull up the paper, and just lift it slowly. If it looks like it hasn't stuck anywhere, just put the paper back down and go back over it with your embossing tool. So now we're going to use these transfers, which come in a different pack. We're going to cut out this little bee here. I thought it would be cute right in the middle of the 2 leaf stems here. And these are the transfers that they put out about 2 months ago. And they have a couple different sheets of those. We're going to use the little bees for this one. Now taking these magnets here, we're going to cut off the pieces that look like a beehive, and we're going to put a little bit of that on the magnet, and then we're also going to cut out the small bees that are on that transfer sheet, and we'll add 1 of the small bees to each one of these magnets. And I chose just to do 5 of the magnets. There is 6 in a pack, but I just wanted a few on there, and I didn't want to crowd the space too much, but this is what's going to hold on our recipe cards. So once we have all of the little magnets done, you can arrange them to look like a beehive on the front, which is really cute with all the little bees there. And then we'll start decorating the bottom of the frame just to make it a little bit more decorative. Here's what it looks like so far. So now we're going to take this mesh ribbon from Dollar Tree. We're cutting 2 pieces. We fold it in half. And then once we have it folded in half long ways, we're just going to fold it over to layer it on top of itself to create the first portion of a bow. And we'll do the second piece of ribbon the exact same way, and then hold them together in the center. And then we'll take a piece of twine or just some more ribbon, and we're going to tie this off in the center of the bow. going to double knot to make sure we have it nice and tight. And then you'll arrange the loops to the bow just to make sure that they look right. They get kind of lumped together there, so you want to pull them apart just a tad. And now we're going to take this greenery. Once you pull them off of the stem, there's this little like opening here where they're on the stem, and then the tip top of the stem, you can actually slide these two pieces together. It's a little bit of a push, but once you get them together, they kind of click into place and then they won't come apart, so you can make a longer stem. And these are just the eucalyptus leaves from Dollar Tree. We'll put that in the center of our bow. And with the twine that we used to tie the bow, we'll just add the greenery to the center. No extra glue is needed. And again, fix your little bow pieces. And then we're going to take one sunflower. It has a wire piece on it. So we're going to put the flower right in the middle and then just wrap the wire around the center of the bow to help hold it in place. And now we'll put some glue right at the very bottom of our recipe board here, and we'll glue this bow to the bottom. And then I put one of our favorite recipes on the board just to show you guys what it looks like, and it's great. It sits on your countertop and you can keep your recipe right where you need it while you're making your favorite recipes. And now for project number 2, we're going to go over the supplies first. We're going to use this board from the Dollar Tree Plus section. It's called the Hanging Board with Hooks. It's 7 by 12. We'll need a piece of chalk. We're going to use these stencils from Dollar Tree, also some more of the eucalyptus or lamb's ear, and some of these dried flowers. We're also going to be using some more of the gel stain and the bath sponge, just a piece to stain, and some more of the painter's tape. We're also going to need a large brush and then some chalk paint or just some white paint. And then we'll use a little bit of hot glue and scissors. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do for this one, it comes with these little hooks at the bottom. And since we're going to stain the shelf, it's just easier to remove the hook. So we're going to do that first. I'm just using a 3-in-1 tool. It's an ink pen from the Dollar Tree. And it's got like a level on it, a ruler, and a screwdriver in the end. So we're just going to use that to remove the hooks, and we'll replace those later. Now taking a small piece of that bath sponge, we're just going to lightly put a small layer of, or just a light layer of the gel stain over this picture frame here, or the chalkboard frame. And I did end up doing the back as well. It's really up to you if you want to do the back. You're not going to see it, but I just wanted to do the very sides, like the edges of the frame. And then once I did, I've got a little bit on the back, so I just ended up staining the whole thing. But it's really up to you. And you want to go ahead and make sure you stain the whole thing, let it dry. Once it's dry, you're going to take a very, very small amount of white paint and lightly brush over top of the stain. And of course, this part's optional. I just wanted to give this a little bit of a weathered look over top of the gel stain now that it's dry. And it brushes on really nicely because there's a really nice wood grain pattern to this shelf, which I liked a lot. And I really picked up a little bit of that white paint and made it look weathered. Now, I didn't want to get any of the white paint on the chalkboard, so I did stop here and add some of the masking tape or painter's tape to the chalkboard edges just to make sure I didn't get any of the white paint on the chalkboard. But you just want to lightly add the white paint as you go. If you mess up, you can just remove it with a damp cloth, or you can go back over it with the gel stain. It's really up to you, but I'm just using a damp cloth to help smooth out the paint and make it look really weathered and light in some spots and a little bit darker stain in other spots. And then we'll let this dry. Once it's dry, we can remove the masking tape from the chalkboard and clean it up a little bit if you have any paint on the chalkboard. And then we're just going to replace those hooks once it's dry as well. So now we're going to start decorating the chalkboard. I didn't want to put anything permanent on the chalkboard in case I want to change it or put a to-do list or a shopping list on the chalkboard. So I thought it would be fun just to use the stencil to make a picture on the chalkboard with some actual chalk. So we're just going to tape it in place and then color around the stencil as best we can with a small piece of chalk. And once you take the stencil off, you can touch it up a little bit and make it a little bit darker, which is what I did once the stencil was completely off. And if you have any spots of chalk that are kind of like little like broken off pieces, or where it got on a little bit too thick, you can actually take a really small detailed paintbrush and just clean up the chalk a little bit if it looks a little rough or bumpy where the stencils were. So I'm adding this stencil as well with a little bit of the greenery to the top just to add some more detail. And then I touched up the leaves once I removed the stencil, as you see here. So you just kind of want to get the outline of the stencil, and then you can, you know, touch it up with the chalk to make it more detailed. I'll put a little heart in the center here, and then I'll write a little something down at the bottom. And then I did end up going in and put a few little leaves in each of the 4 corners of the chalkboard just to add a little bit more detail. What's nice about this is we can change it whenever we want, and we can even paint it on later if we decide that's the picture we want to keep. So now we're just going to decorate the top. I have some lamb's ear and these dried flowers from Dollar Tree, a little bit of greenery with some tiny white flowers. We're going to add that to the top also. And we just keep filling it in with greenery and flowers as we see fit until we have it all filled in the way we like. Now, you don't have to add the flowers. You could add a bow. You can just leave it as is. You could even use some more of the rub-on transfers at the top and add some different words or flowers from different packs that they sell at the Dollar Tree. It's really up to you. There's lots of different options, but I thought this was a really nice, great board for just $3 at the Dollar Tree Plus section of the store. It's a really nice large shelf for just $3. I thought it was a pretty good bargain, especially now that most things at the Dollar Tree are $1.25. It's really not that much more to spend. So this is what it looks like, and we hang our keys on it. And so these are the 2 projects we have for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make these with me. Don't forget, we post what's new at the Dollar Tree videos every Tuesday and Friday, and DIY videos every Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. Have a great day, everyone.